The third question that I get asked almost daily is what and how I feed the ewes. Today's episode will be all on what I feed, how I feed it, how I store it, all things feed. Meet my most favorite employee, my bobcat. This or a skid steer is required in this barn. I use it to clean pens. I use it to feed every day. It's my other most favorite tool, my Val metal feed cart with the upper discharge because of my feed bunks. It is basically an apron chain, so as it moves, it is driven up into my discharge auger. Discharge auger to the spout. This is where I store the feed. So I have corn silage here, peas and oats, peas and oats. The feed does stay very fresh. Easy to work with my machinery, so I do like it for that. What I don't like is plastic, but we are part of a recycle program. So I have been bagging it and sending it to a guy not too far, and he recycles it. And I'm into a new program. So this is a little system, and it's got like a plunger to compress it, and it's gonna make bales. And then we can ship like trucks of bales of plastic instead of all these stupid little bags that's hard to get great big pieces of plastic in those little stupid garbage bags. I could be wrong on this. I believe that there's someone using this to recycle to make new bags. Brilliant. This has made my life a lot nicer and cleaner because I hate having this. Before I get feeding, I'm gonna tell you a little bit about what I do. So this machine here is called a Tmr Mixer. I feed a total mixed ration, which means my nutritionist that works for the feed company where I buy all my mineral, they develop a feed ration for whatever stage my ewes are in. So they're typically in 3 different stages. They're either lactating, so they're feeding their babies, or they're in a flush ration, which is like a pre-breeding ration, and it also doubles as a late gestation ration. So again, higher energy, not quite as high as lactation. And then the third one's just maintenance. And I'm either doing that through a TMR, or if I'm trying to dry off ewes, which I have a group I'm doing that with right now, I feed them dry hay, like basically the grassiest, your least quality hay possible, so they stop milk production. So those are the 3 rations that I feed. My nutritionist gives me feed rations based on my feed results. So we get all our feed tested. We grow our own hay, we grow our own corn, we get it all tested. They give me a ration based on each group. So there's lactation, dry, flush. So I throw it onto Excel, tell the computer how many ewes are in that group, and then I make the amount based on what I'm feeding. So my peas and oats, right now they're getting 3.5 kg per ewe. This is for a flush ration. They're getting 3.5 kgs per ewe. Corn silage, they're getting 1.5. Dry corn, they're getting 0.4, and then my mineral, of course, is there. I plug it into Excel, it calculates my total amount to put in the mixer, and then I work backwards based on each pen, where each group is, and how much I have to fill the cart and deliver to each section. Okay, the TMR machine, I didn't really show you it. The door, the scale, so everything gets weighed out. So I call this basically a giant KitchenAid mix master. I'm gonna throw in the peas and oats, and then I'm gonna throw in the silage, corn silage, and then I'm gonna run the corn, which is actually by an auger, into my little bin, and that'll be mixing the whole time. And then I throw in my mineral and weigh it out and throw that in here, and then it's a complete ration. And why we do that is the ewes have a harder time sorting everything. I mean, they still will sort, but it takes them a little bit longer because it's really well mixed together. And that's kind of the goal, because sheep are master sorters. So in the cold weather, I usually start my cart and let it warm up while I'm getting my first load of feed. Hi. He might be in the shop. That was embarrassing. That guy thinks I'm totally talking to myself. TMR's fed. I still have to feed a bale. Now the problem with feeding dry hay in this barn is I do have to feed it by hand off the cart. They'll get about half this bale today, and then I'll feed the other half tomorrow. They waste half of it, so I don't like putting too much in, as you can see. Turns into bedding. That's why I do prefer my TMR in this barn, because there's not near the waste, like no waste. Anyway, I'm gonna feed that, and then we're gonna go across the road and I'm gonna show you how and what I feed the finishing lamb. Here's the final TMR mix. Now they've picked a lot of the corn out because that's what they do. It's very cold, but there's your corn. That's likely from the corn silage. They picked the dry corn out first. That's why you can barely see it in the ration. And then the corn you see here will be mixed in with from the corn silage. And this is just chunks of ice and snow. Let me feed them first, and then we can talk. They're a little loud. Okay, this is a good view of what I'm feeding right now. So it is a corn pellet ration. We grow the corn and we buy this pellet. Right now this is a 39% protein pellet. Now that is not what the final amount that they get is. It's watered down to about a 14% ration. The corn we have proportioned to be 80% of the ration, and then the pellets 20%. I'm just using the pellet because it's a bit easier. It's still cheaper than a prepared pellet, which is what I was feeding before. And I know the guy that grows my corn, he gives me a really good deal. So every feeder has drops and a cross auger that runs in the center of the barn. And then in the corner is a proportioner. And outside I have the pellets in one bin and the corn in another bin. Now the thing with these feeders, I will have to clean up I do have to clean up the lip every day. As you can see, again, even the lambs do a really good job of sorting, and they eat the pellets, of course, the most expensive part. They eat those last, and if they get too soggy, I actually have to clean that out, and that's a huge waste of money. So that's the only thing with these feeders. They do sort. They get better with age. These guys were just weaned, so they're still getting used to it, but they love the corn. They will always pick the corn first. They do get better with age and less sorting, and they end up eating everything as a mix better, but this is a transition for whatever reason. Hi guys. I am gonna run over here and show you this proportioner. We did spend some money a couple years ago and put this in, and it's made my life a lot nicer over here. So basically we have pellets coming into here. I could put 2 more ingredients in, so that's what I mean. I could do like a DDG if I wanted, a premix, and then get my ration even cheaper, but right now I'm just sticking with this because it's easy. Corn, pellets, and then some math was calculated to run the proportions. So obviously all the pins are out on this one, so the corn is running at full mass when it runs. So basically the gear back there, it's running and catching every pin, which means the corn is consistently dropping. This guy, because it's just a smaller amount I want in the mix, it's only gonna we calculated whatever 20% of the total would weigh out at, and then we poked out that many pins, and that will drive that gear only so much. And the mixing gets done in the actual auger. So it's got to go all the way from there, all the way up and over and down the center So by the time it drops, it's pretty well mixed. Last but not least, we feed a ton of dry hay as well. Some producers don't, some just do grain and then rely on whatever they bed, so the straw, to keep their rumen scratched up and healthy. We don't. I do like feeding hay as well. We grow it, so we might as well feed it. Now I did have to buy this hay because we're running short, so that kind of sucks. So I put the hay bales in the center alley just for ease, and then I use the manger as the spot for the hay. Because those ewe lambs are getting a restricted amount of grain because I'm growing them, but I don't want them to get fat, I do use that for the grain as well. And then I just push up the hay when they're done and top it off. Well, it's lunchtime. My sheep are officially better fed than me because I for sure know that I have no food in the house. I hope that answers your question, how I feed my sheep, how I feed the finishing lambs. If you guys want to comment down below what you guys have for feed and what you feed, that would be great discussion. Take care, guys. Thanks for watching.